Hi guys, what's up and welcome to this week's video. So this week I'm going to be reviewing the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and just a little bit of background, I am a hardcore Android user. I've been using Android since I was born, pretty much. So since I was old enough to have a phone, I've always been on Androids, and I've never really got the appeal about iPhones, so I thought why not try this phone for a few months to give it a proper in-depth review. So let's get into the video. Let's firstly talk about the design and build. The iPhone 16 Pro Max has a very sleek and solid design with slightly rounded edges. People have complained that it doesn't look much different from its predecessors year on year. It's kind of the same thing. And I agree, iPhone really hasn't done much in the past few years in terms of innovation when it comes to its visual appeal. So they had the phone in a few different natural colors, and I got it in natural titanium. But to be honest, I don't really like the color of the phone that much. I feel like it also looks slightly different from the picture that's advertised. It's a very bland, boring shade of gray. Something that I don't like about the look of this phone at the back though is this kind of plastic looking casing around the camera modules. I don't know, it just looks like clear cheap plastic, and it takes away from the premium look and feel of the device. Another thing that I don't like about the design of this phone is where the button placements are. So you have the unlock button on the right, then you have the volume buttons on the left, you have an action button on the left, and you also have this brand new kind of quick camera launch button on the right, and you can also use it to kind of zoom in and out. The amount of accidental screenshots that I've taken on this phone. So to take the screenshot, you have to press the power button and the upper volume button. Because it's directly kind of parallel to that upper volume button, you just end up pressing it and it takes a screenshot. And also the most pointless button on a phone award goes to this button right here, which is supposed to be a quick launch camera button and to also help zoom in and out. I haven't even used it once to kind of zoom in and out. I think we're just so used to taking pictures like this now that like taking it like this just feels a bit weird. And another thing which is super annoying is if you're a content creator and you film shorts, you have to put your phone on a stand sometimes, and it kind of clamps from the sides. Now you can't put the clamp here because you kind of conflicts with the volume buttons. So when you now clamp the phone here, there's basically no free space for you to clamp. See, it's just recording and it's just got the camera open. Like the iPhone is just about getting the camera open, I feel like. This action button here, yes, I guess it's a quicker way to kind of put your phone on silent and put it on loud mode. And you can also customize this button to have a different function if that's not what you want. Now let's talk about the iPhone's interface and performance. So this phone has an OLED Super Retina XDR display which looks vibrant and sharp with nice colors. The interface is smooth and it also works well without glitching. One super annoying thing about the interface though is that you don't have a way to clear all your apps. You can only clear 1 or maximum 3 at a time, and I just feel like that's such a basic function that they are just lacking. Also on this phone, you don't have multi-window capabilities, so you can't open multiple apps at once. And you also have a mode where the screen comes down slightly, so say you can't reach the top of your screen with your thumb, you can bring stuff down so you're able to use your phone. Now, I didn't really find myself using this feature unless your hand is stuck somewhere and you are still able to hold your phone, like in that movie 127 Hours. But it might be useful for some people. I mean, I'm not the entire population. Something new and unique on this phone is the dynamic bar on the top. So what this does is it kind of previews things from apps. So for example, I ordered food on Uber Eats once, and instead of having to open the app, it kind of showed me that my driver is like 6 minutes away. If you're playing music on Spotify, it kind of shows what track is playing, and you can quickly tap on that dynamic bar to quickly go to the Spotify app or YouTube. So I have been using it. It is useful, but again, it's too small to make a big impact. And a lot of the times it's just dormant. What would have made it even better is, for example, if I'm on Spotify and then say I have another app open, it should be that I can go on Spotify by pressing the dynamic bar, and then if I press the dynamic bar again, it should take me back to the previous app. But that doesn't happen. I think if it did that, that would have been kind of cool, that you can quickly switch between the 2 apps that you're using. Then you have the control center and the way of viewing notifications. So the control center is accessed if you swipe from the top right. So you have a bunch of apps and tools that you can toggle on and off. And also you can customize those tools, so move stuff around as you please. And then if you swipe down from the middle, or I guess the left of the phone, you get the basic notifications. Now, I personally don't like this setup. It's more complicated than it needs to be. On Samsung and other phones, you just swipe down once, like from wherever. It doesn't have to be like position based, and it kind of just shows you all your tools and it shows you notifications in one swipe. You know, sometimes you don't exactly swipe from the right, it's like a bit off center and then it pulls down the wrong thing. They're just trying to be different, but it doesn't actually add any value to the user experience. One feature that I do like though, which works quite seamlessly, which I've used a lot, is the AirDrop feature. Now, I've asked a lot of iPhone users what it is about the iPhone that they love so much. And some things which came up was it's just super reliable and quick, and also FaceTime and iMessage. Now, in the UK, we don't really use the phone's text messaging service ever. We use WhatsApp, and I think that's quite common. And also FaceTime, again, we have WhatsApp for everything. I don't even think I used FaceTime even once. And also FaceTime is only limited to if another person has an iPhone. Like, just make a product which is so good that people want it, rather than making a product which gives people no other choice but to get that product. There are two different things. And I think in the long term, the strategy they are using, it's gonna go downhill. And then you also have some nice safety features such as emergency SOS via satellite, crash detection, and roadside assistance via satellite as well. So overall, yes, the interface is quite smooth and somewhat intuitive. It's reliable, it runs smoothly, but that's not enough these days to keep a user on a phone, at least for me. Now let's talk about the camera. So this is an area where the iPhone definitely does have the edge. The camera is probably one of the best cameras that I've used on a phone. The colors, the quality, the smoothness of shots, it all looks amazing. The white balance can take a bit of time to adjust sometimes, but overall the camera is pretty great. The built-in stabilization also makes videos look very smooth, and you have the dedicated cinematic mode, which makes shots look crisp and beautiful. So what's really good about the iPhone is that even with limited camera knowledge, you can shoot some very amazing looking videos, and I think that is what appeals to people a lot. You also have a nice variety of recording options with up to 4K in a bunch of different frame rates that you would need. The editing features are a bit more minimal, but you still have everything you need to make your photos look great, and you also have the cleanup feature in Apple's Intelligence that helps shots look cleaner and you can get rid of unwanted things in your photos. Now, one reason why I've actually been enjoying using this phone is because of the camera, and content creators have a bit of an edge when it comes to this phone. And that's because when you post videos on social media which have been created by the iPhone, the videos just look better. They look smoother, they look more high res, and that's not because the iPhone has a better camera, it's to do with app integration. Now let's talk specifically about the iOS 18 features. And this is an area where Apple has truly stepped up their game. So you're now able to personalize your home screen, but again, Android has had this for years. You can also lock and hide certain apps. You also have a bunch of new customizable options when it comes to texting, so you can make things bold, you can underline, italics, all of that kind of stuff. But to be honest, when you're texting somebody, do you really have the time to be like customizing the font and underlining things? Maybe you would use it once in a while. One thing that's pretty cool though is you can now view topographic maps, and that's basically being able to see hiking trails. And I've used this and it's actually amazing, because a lot of the times when I found spots to hike and I've put them in Google Maps, it just takes you to the middle of nowhere. It takes you to that location, but it doesn't take you specifically to where you need to start the hike. So this feature is actually very useful and amazing. Also, in the Wallet app, you can directly send cash to people, given that they have the app as well, and you don't even need to exchange phone numbers. I know this is a common problem for people in America because they have to Venmo each other, and I think it costs money to kind of send money, which again is crazy. But here it's pretty easy to just transfer money into somebody's bank account, but this makes it even more seamless. So that is a pretty cool feature. And there are so many other features. I'll link them in the article below. If I go through all of them, we'll be here all day. Now let's talk about Apple Intelligence. My hands-on experience with Apple Intelligence has been generally pretty positive. So firstly, you have a bunch of different writing tools. This feature allows you to proofread text by checking for spelling and grammar errors, including word choice and sentence structure. Rewrite cleans up what you've written and shifts the tone without impacting your content. You have 3 options: friendly, professional, and concise. And whilst this can be a handy feature for some quick jobs, I feel like it's pretty limited, because I would just go to ChatGPT and I can get exactly the tone I want. And also a couple of times rewrite didn't really work for me. I think just depending on the content that I was trying to rewrite. You also have different focus modes, so that includes a dedicated reduce interruptions focus mode and only shows you important notifications that need attention whilst filtering out everything else. And again, you can customize all this stuff to kind of decide who you want to receive messages from. You can also now type to Siri, which I think is really good, rather than just being able to speak to it, and I found this very useful and I did this quite a lot. Also, you can speak to Siri in more of a conversational tone, which has definitely enhanced the user experience. And my favorite thing is that sometimes when Siri doesn't know what to say, it says, I'll ask ChatGPT, and there's ChatGPT integration within that. Then there are a bunch of features which let you summarize emails, notifications, text, that kind of stuff. And then you also have a smart reply feature. You also have transcription summary, so you can record a voice note on your kind of notes app and it will summarize what you've said, and I think that's really cool. And you also get a live transcript. And you can also record calls, so it's built in, and again, after recording the call, it will summarize everything for you. So they have really paid attention to just summarizing stuff. I also like some camera roll features. So in the Photos app, it's really cool that you can search for photos. So you can be like, show me all my selfies, and it'll just group all your selfies and show you all of them. Or you can ask for a specific thing in a photo, like show me that photo that I took of a squirrel, and it will show you. And you can also search for specific things within videos. So show me a squirrel running across a wire kind of thing, and it will take you to that exact video and show you exactly that part. So I think that's super useful. And then you also have memory movies, which I guess is a bit of an old feature, but it's been even more enhanced. Finally, let's talk about the battery life and speakers. Now, the battery life, hands-on using this phone, is probably the worst battery that I've ever used, because it literally dies very quickly. And also something that I can't believe that we're having to deal with in 2025 is if your phone dies, it won't power on as soon as you plug the charger in. You have to wait a good 10 minutes. And that's something I've never understood about Apple products. The speakers are pretty decent. They go quite loud. You also have voice memos, and the audio recording quality is actually really good. One thing I did notice though is with earbuds and the Bluetooth range. So if you are wearing your earbuds and you walk away from your iPhone, it kind of disconnects. Whereas I've had the same earbuds, but with a Samsung phone, I could walk away like, I don't know, like let's say 10-15 meters, and they would still stay connected. Whereas with iPhone, I think I walked about 7-8 meters and they disconnected. So the range isn't that good with Bose earbuds and iPhones. I can't speak for any other earbuds. Okay, so what is my overall verdict when it comes to the iPhone? As an Android user, will I be using the iPhone? To be perfectly honest, there are some things that this phone does which are exceptional, like the camera, some of the Apple Intelligence features, just the look, the feel, the seamlessness. But there are so many things that I believe I described that are just, it's like, how can you pay that much for a product and it can't do these basic things? The camera is something that I just really like. But I know that there are other ways of shooting content on your phone and still make it look high res. So if you use a third-party app and then upload onto that social media, I just need to kind of get my head around that a little bit more before I can switch from the iPhone. If you are not somebody who shoots a lot of content, don't get the iPhone. It's a complete waste of money, and the features aren't as good as, for example, other phones. So that's pretty much it for this week's video. If you enjoyed it, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Also follow me on my socials, because I do create other kinds of content and post it there, so you don't want to miss out. And I will see you in my next video. So until then, take care.